Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scary Scouts and Pirates of the Caribbean film series. Simon Angels here. Today's day is Thursday, April 28th, 2023 today. My name is Simon Angels here. This is my best friends and Cornfields and Mark Lewis. Mark Lewis. We are in my room today, so we're just here for about my storylines enter for about listen with things to about like Q&As and about in this time about my last appearance for about 6 years ago and about 2016 through 2022. My specialty is let me just turn it down real quick. Basically, we just do that for about all of the cases for about I issued about my routines for about the things we could have about the whole timelines and interesting about Tony knows as play as crazy boyfriend at his former relationship and Millie Mulder and still his sister Samantha is known as about Mantha and including himself about crazy families and besides their Van de Crees we uploaded between Cree brothers, raging families, and between his brothers and his mom and dad. It's clues about raging mom and raging dad, and I know still has the bro squad's not here today. It's just due to about deletions of the block YouTube videos and about the bro squads between Cody and this guy for about and Keon and his brother Evander for about less of the time for the list a few moments ago. Those all we have to hear is we're just due for about the Evander Creed re-uploads between Team Creed as Creed re-uploaded in between Reagan Dad's reaction for about last 2 hours ago. This is for about the social ability on social medias. The timelines are about like 2015 and 2016 for about Psycho families and Reagan action and crazy families action for about there's priority characters about VidCon for about like 2015 and 8 years. Like others making not so the badasses look at it for about like so it was about list of the timeable lines for about a few days ago. Like Caladies, it's just due to about the programming also nearby Mcjuggernuggets here and to conclude himself about crazy boyfriend played by Tony Tonino and Samantha and Millie, and then my favorite characters I just like Tony Tonino's and his former relationship of Millie and his sister Samantha. I like funnies and raging. I just like laughing and just due to about the crazies. All I have to do is keep myself calm down. As long as I can for about we do that all the time for about listen about for chance with it about all of it I definitely could. I know some more about interesting about the feel greatest about it. It's Millie said for 2016 for about her former relationship about Tony's improbable or wants to do that for about either the play role model as crazy boyfriend as behind the scenes and concluded itself beside a kid that sneaks food and like sometimes they do have about particular place like BTS like even unlikely about behind the scenes about all I have to count about the end of this August about due to about the fall September 2015 due to sneaks food like spring like a falls 2015 and as long as I can. Even Tony's just asking about Samantha things to like make it about the homemade officials like pamphlet did due to about sitting around the 2 hours at video games and computers and eating food like 20 puddings besides her she doesn't like it and Tony's doesn't feel like it 4 snack packs onto the 20 puddings and after he hates sometimes and about the junk food and the freezers and the refrigerators, um, he does know where she's talk. She does know what he's talking about. Sneaking of his food that he put all this from his grocery stores like a week ago. This time's about last week ago and 8 days ago. Like Samantha and Millie just drove it down here to the left and besides the stores from his house and they were basically she bought it they bought the ice creams and 20 puddings and sometimes she doesn't get it sometimes he doesn't eat ice cream always and he wasn't forget about all this plan B for about all this is about Samantha's idea and Millie has to eat pudding per day and not for Samantha. Even they're just likely about his stressing out all the time and Tony says what she's talking about all the foods like he has to talk to Samantha about all the time he plays by Mantha. Sorry about that, is this line on? Um like Samantha Samantha and Millie and sometimes and he just went into his house or about like in 2016 like 7 mid-springs ago like all the things we could for about sneaks foods about for completely not possible like a process so do you guys did remember that for about Psycho Kid Fat Sneaks Food in about 7 years ago on 1 month ago. Yeah, it's almost as far as I was concerned about 20 puddings in the refrigerators and ice creams and the junk foods and the freezers. Yeah. I know sometimes Tony's just talking to Millie says she drinks milk and he says it is good for the protein and she doesn't allow to drink water and also sometimes Tony teaches Samantha about how to teach when she goes to the exercise routine and then Millie and Tony and they doesn't like Samantha like the end of her hospitals anytime so dude, I just got lost weight for about 165 pounds from 13 years ago. Just quite frankly, like sometimes just due to have about for little chance with it. I have definitely could. I understand sometimes just do the what she says. So I don't like 20 I don't like 20 putties onto the 4 snack pack. So I just do like yogurts and very good healthy. I drink milk and most of it have smoothies and oranges and pineapples. It's good for my body and proteins and most people can do have about eat fruits and vegetables and herbs and salads and milk and smoothies and shakes. Even including frozen yogurt is okay with that. And all I have to do is don't buy any of the stuff about the 5 vanilla ice creams. That's too much. That's too much with it into the junk food and junk food from the groceries. So Tony doesn't like putting in about refrigerators and the freezers. And all I have to do is make it about the visuals on the addresses for about list of the time like as soon as the most possibilities as far as I am concerned about discovering to about the situations. Tony's Tony's decided I have to do to about the situation here and about YouTube channels. As far as I am concerned, even about Tony's former relationship and his ex girlfriend Millie, and she's decided to his hangout there about distributed for not that they're together anymore. Like sometimes we do have about listed for about the 2 years ago. The opposite ways on the usual ways. It's usually for the last 2 minutes ago. We definitely could for about for 10 more minutes ago. It eventually for about 17 minutes ago. Like it definitely could for about sometimes it do have about it is films action for about like dining rooms pamphlets like friendships and family meeting to do. Even decides that why we have to choose ones about in timelines like as soon as the possibilities. So who's his things about responsible for Samantha? And Samantha has to be responsible from Tony, and he's gonna listen for her for about you can read those about all I have to do is make eat healthy and per days and drink milk and things we have to do is all I have to do is make a good ways about exercise with walking and due to about the living room homemade exercise routine and oh well like he says and hit us like about 30 minutes to 60 minutes for exercise times in clear without it for sometimes about it like same sweater life about actions um they have much of no idea what it has supposed to be about his mom just told Tony about the blood drawing while she scares and she cries out while she gets shot and her blood drawing was it about a whole time and she scares while she gets blood drawing. Tony says why was she crying? She would get to the blood drawing. She had no idea about no one's interesting in about the 2 minutes ago. Like one things we could um so we understand sometimes it's just we just figure out we just do that. Excuse me. All we did for about was just figure out so we did could yeah, that could be right. Samantha has workout to do for about for exercise. We're going out for walk, and besides that, she also very careful for that. And even about the tribulation, even about the tribute to his dog Sparky. Tony's ever about dislikes junking about 5 different packs of the ice creams and 20 puddings and Tony likes always Mountain Dew for about like exactly did about his role model as crazy boyfriend as play as a known as crazy brother. They have no idea what has a proposal to be. Like we says all the time for about as much as soon as possible. Um, this one's about responsible action for about my situation to address it to Tony Tornado as role as play as crazy boyfriend as or maybe it could be about crazy brother like all the time like crazy series and like raging and psycho and even about aggressive can really careful for that. I like different codes. I understand sometimes which is due for about for the last 2 minutes ago. So like same time about we just do that about the rich guy about the situations. Like do that all the time. Um it's not a lot good things about the word choice. then it's just between us to being sorry, I just almost get gibberish. Between me and Mark and Corn, and we're just here. Um, wasn't happened between Tony and Samantha and his new girlfriend and his ex girlfriend, and as far as I had concerned about Millie's addresses about Tony Tornadoes as situations. Her full name is about Millie Mulder. Um, she knows as the nerdy speech. Um, sometimes Millie doesn't know people they are. Like sometimes she moves to the different kinds of about the sweets department. Like sometimes she was kind of like about very interesting about this guy's named John Nebula. Her relationship is also by John Nebula. I know this guy's in the YouTube channels, so wish could have told him to. And that's all we have to do that all the time. Like the same things and at the same time. Like my timelines, all I have to do is different things about. So however, we just do whatever you can for about things about relationship. Like I could be about understanding like entire to each other's like different cases which is definitely could for about like an entire time for about list of the shows for about over and over and this again. Like sometimes we worked this out for about less than we worked about for the last few days ago. Or there could be about last 10 years ago. I mean no, that was about long time ago from 2016. And things about 2017 and Tony and Millie aren't in together anymore, like a process. Millie just left. She moved out to from her Las Vegas to Ava Califlox decided to about what she's talking about, her new relationship between those guys. Like sometimes all I have to be to learn about the focusing to the real interest rates. But I don't know, sometimes it's just do that about we figure out. So I just literally for about which is about a few weeks ago, like he does she does make sense. So she doesn't understand what she's talking about to people. Like even that just could be serious problems about like and most of the people could do have about the nerdy speeds ever take care of her about and their lifetimes for about listed about the life in the Tony and Millie and besides the 2 years ago. Listed besides about 2 years is from March 2015 and eventually for about April 2017 from the first to the last it eventually about 2 years and 1 month. Um I have to say we're just talking about all that this time about for talk to you for about for comments and this action for this questioning for about like soon as possible. Um I definitely could for about I understand sometimes we just do that all the time list. We just break up about over about last 2 years ago. So we just take out for about list we cares for about the job interesting. And I don't know sometimes we just do it to about for the last few moments ago. Um Listen we can all things to do is check out those things out. So I don't know sometimes we're just gonna have to make ways out. Um like the life in the Tony Tornado and Millie Mulder and about 2 years ago from 2015 through 2017. If that thing sense about Tony and Millie's about 2 years ago, like together in about the 2 years evolution for about 2015 is this first started and 2017 was ended. And these was the case as far as I am concerned about discovering all this about for last chance with it. Like indeed and definitely could. I understand sometimes it's just do that about with different kinds to be could. I just to make it sense, right? I understand sometimes we just do that about all I have to takes. Like sometimes we just do have to make timelines as much as soon as possible. Like take breaks over for about a few days ago. Like a week ago. Like it doesn't make sense. We're just having to talking about the great ways and great times and sometimes it do have about just about meeting if we could for about maybe 2016 is the best there's ever for about VidCons 2016. So do Tony and Millie just remember that to meeting Psycho Dad and Mcjuggernuggets the Big Brother and Teresa Rich Ray and Uncle Larry's as Larry's Lounge and a long time ago. So I basically would just do for about in timelines about in serious and comfortable all the time with the issues and listeners we could understand these sometimes we just differ about we differ about the all of this plan for the life of quotes time for about few things about next year's so that could be about for the next June 2024. I have to say, my last day is my vlog's announcement speech of reviews will be at about 8 years and for the next year. Before the end of the 2023 and 365 days of the left. Besides one has chosen ones, I was decided once that I have to follow the distant about to judging to those each others. Like others about those chances for now, those are the issues about my life is sure of possibilities. Like, even those things, I have to just figure out just like it says. I don't just make a suggestive with sense about even not telling for anything that anybody to tell secretly. So we did for about for definitely could, like in definitely cases for about few things to do and few things in the most extreme and few most about besides what I have to choose one. So do you remember that, Corn? Now Corns makes sense about that's just yes for about listed we can for about the like 8 years evolutions. What are you thinking about it, Mark? Yeah, he's right about next year's would be 8 years evolution. Even to see that about 2016 videos action for about Mcjuggernuggets as a creative lead of a Psycho Daz and his brother Uncle Chris and Uncle Larry and Melissa and mostly Georgie the big brother as Jeffrey and then mostly the do have here is Jesse's ex-girlfriend as his former relationship with Juliet and then all this about like entire time. Do I just freaking sweat a lot all the time? It's just a fun sunny outside about make it cool down for the night. Like different kinds to be interesting about how do I figure out. I just do that what I just says. I believe what I could. I can't make it a last chance with it. So I do make sense. I can address it to Tony Tornadoes as so what is he talking about? I was able to address to me as Pirates of the Caribbean film series as from Captain Simon Pyramid to Simon Angels. I'm no longer to my name of the Captain Simon Pyramid anymore. So what's my name is Simon Angels. This is my new first name, my new last name. Decides want to choose. My still first name is Simon. My new last name is Angels. I came down from the heaven to the earth. And it's time for the seas and the dry land and the worlds alike. So I have the what we need to do is about for different kinds to be and whatever you be. So all I have to do is make a word sounds like it about and different kinds to be the about entire time. So like it says onto me says, it's the bird, it's the cloud, it's the sky, it's the trees, it's the animal, and it's paradise. So I'm doing a great job in this. So two more to go. It's the bird, it's the cloud, it's the sky, it's the tree, it's the animal, it's the plant, and it's paradise. So it's just bigger as it looks, like some more than saying one more words to go. Let's do that one more time for about listen what I can. It's the bird, it's the sky, it's the cloud, it's the tree, it's the plant, and it's the animals, it's the critters, and it's the paradise of the park. That was a very excellent work. So that was about 5 to 7 words for about all the soonest as possible. Like the break times can make it over. Let's remove this one. Sorry, I'm at this one that it begins. So I just do for about like a Q&A series for about 6 years ago. Even that takes over about Pirates of the Caribbean movie madness, like Mcjuggernuggets movie madness. All I have to do is make it about Mcjuggernuggets March Madness. Like 1 year ago. Even that makes sense about the end of the end of Mcjuggernuggets March Madness. So what time is Pirates of the Caribbean movie madness end? Well, it could be about for next spring, probably about next year. All of this time for about which it begins to figure out. Listen to what I just said for about a Pirates Ahoy powwows until the end. Like most of it for about least if we can for about 7 years and mostly about 8 years in 2024. Even that 2024 end of videos were about a Pirate Ahoy powwows and the Pirates of the Caribbean movie madness as 7 years, and the vlogs announcement speed reviews and takes over about like a retired time for about 8 years and like parting words of like from 2016 anytime as much as soon as possible. Like even much worries about me and worries about time, and all I have to do is make different kinds to be independently anytime as much as soon as possible. Like it take time to the breaks, and like sometimes it's just do that about works that about all the things that we figure out. All it has to make sense due to about no less than pay attention as long as I can. When I fortunately I do that all the time about the last chance with it, and those guys and gentlemen here and including ladies here just watching them on the videos actions on POTC film series as becoming as about Simon. You could call me about my new full name is Simon Angels. As sometimes I came down from the heaven to the earth. Listen to time as much as soon as the possibilities. What I thought I did. I usually for sure as long as I can when I figure out what I notice. So I just did what I figure out. I just do that. I just says do what you can and do what I just says. All I have to make the most of it as long as I can. Like sooner as much as I have possibilities, as much as I worry about it entire soon as possible. It's most things what I figure out. And things for sure as long as we work this out about pretty later on. It's for right now for about indefinitely could for about entire time. Um, it's much likely for about per days ago in the per years, and as much as I've taken the whereabouts, it is a completely unexcusable. Don't make it excusable all the time, like the every 32 minutes ago. We think in and about this actions for about like the Mcjuggernuggets do, and the Juggies powwow today on the end of the Juggies powwow, and that's from the last days of the Juggies powwow goodbyes. This is from on. Those decided after Uncle Larry's visited for the hospitals anytime for laying out of her bed, laying out his bed and neck braces and his medicines and his water too. Which is saying Jesse and Corin are just worried about Uncle Larry anytime, and including Tom is just upset about Jesse and about after the truck accident to its packed pool for the last 7 summers ago for about 2016. Like sometimes we just have about the vlogs and about the vlogging dudes and about entire time. So we can definitely could for about the least of the per minutes ago. Things we could for about lots of time as soon as possible. Um, I have noticed as soon as possible have no views in it, and sometimes it's okay with that with me. So you can see me as long as we could for about let's say as long as we can about 15 minutes ago. So we can. I unfortunately all I have to make it do is one of my bestest ever. So between those guys and like it says, I just did for about to take shopping carts back to the Walmart. I just got a paycheck to cash in tributes to Cars Associates on card person of Walmart and the outdoors. So I cashed in depositing tributes to card purchase on Walmart on the Cars Associate. Less of about due to the apologetic of employees and employers and boss between Cindy and Natalie and Jim on my former job coach Andrew and listed about Alex and Rick and Leanna. I'm sorry for you guys about listed about 5 to 15 minutes earlier without the permanent and permissions. I'm sorry about the feel interesting about the per days and the minutes ago. Um, just like one of those my promises were about listed exactly what I can. Um, and this is about 2 years ago, like long time. Like as much as exactly did about for the last 2 years ago. All I did is coming back home for about. I think I wanted to come back to get a job and go for the online due to the job applications and due to the apply to making a nice clothes and job interviews and orientation starts working payrolls for the account numbers and routing numbers as long as I work at about paychecks for about every 2 weeks ago and always 2 weeks I do to about the jobs careers test for about 6 months ago like Andrew did and Cindy and Natalie and Jim. All things most, my former job coach says I'm sorry for them for the reasons. All I have to do is get checked out for about we apply to those jobs and I think Andrew misses his trillium anytime as soon as possible. I'm sorry for them for I sorry for him and my friend Andrew as soon as possible. I just don't want to be temporarily for I don't like to be temporarily for I just like taking cars back to I just like taking cars back to the Walmart due to the cash and rewards to Cars Associate on the same page of Walmart. So much thanks for about a few moments ago. Like sometimes all I have to make most of it. Decide what I chose once. Um, things I wanted most to do is exciting words about the parting words. as one of the same action was the 2016. It eventually about 2017 and 2018. And thanks, I like 2019 is one of the best ever. What I have the all time about 1,461 days. In eventually times is I figure out for about I listed to two works to do is I just do for figure out for about I'm just short but just said for about 1,000 and as far as the extreme could for about from 2015 and 2014 Instagram Advanced Program and Emerald 2013 and 2012 and then in 2011 and 2010 and 2000 known as 2010. However, I take 2009 and mostly 2008. Things about my evolution here is about my Ridgecrest Elementary Schools and mostly have about 6 years of the Ridgecrest and Fuji is 3 years, Emerald is 3 years. Even the Advance is 2 years. That was about exactly did for about a few months ago, all the time. That was about for we're glad of it for here's about the last chance for about to say great buys and new buy. I know the short for bid as Pharaoh too soon as next year is 2024 this June. Probably about coming about for the next June 2024 as 8-year evolution as Mcjuggernuggets as far as announcement speech as a transition as the last videos about action. That was about his final transmission for about like timelines about as soon as possible. Like take those to the break times. Before I listed as soon as possible, like before I have to list it to take over about few years ago, like sooner as much as possible, like take over with about as soon as a great breaks. Like sometimes I just do for about as soon as about reabilities. At least as the works are about like the employees and employers over years. Like many things about 20 years through 40 years. Even including expanded ones about 60 years. It decides about all I have to make it. I chose ones decides. Listen what I could understanding. You usually have all of this each other's. Like quiet times, I think we definitely could we understanding. We were half about the great times and issues. We just have it about plan B for about let's say for about 2024 like during this end of the 2023. Like sometimes still have about 2025 for the later years. Is it about 20 years until later years? Even about 2 years and then decides like the Sweet Life of Sasaki Cody and 20th anniversaries, High School Musical Trilogy as they are, later years number 3 as 2026. And then it could be besides to one issues like One Is His Time. Even Hannah Montana is my best ever, so I have to do is about tributes to Hannah Montana and That's a Raven. The Raven's Home, Corey in the House, Good Luck Charlie, The Sweet Life on Deck, Phineas the Verb, Casey Undercover, Shaken Up, then Jesse and Bunk. Even Bunk is still okay with that, and still kept going to studying for about the 40 minutes ago. Make most of it exactly clear for about for the last 2 minutes ago. Make things all I have to need to do is about take cover for about make it recovery care for about make it grateful for the healthy. So if you guys those are the questions as long as I can, and then we could sometimes be really interesting so for the last few moments ago. That was one of my last words for about 2024 until the next June. Next June is 2024. And this is my last words would be about next summer for the June 2024. So if any of those questions, as long as I can, maybe I just written down for about any time as much as soon as possible. Like sometimes it does matters and does whatever it takes. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is about 40 minutes ago. My longest vlogs are about 40 minutes ago. 40 minutes ago. Sometimes about 40 minutes. Like 40 minutes. Yeah, I just like Miss Madison's class about ASL for about 9 years ago. I just learned how to make an ASL all the time. Do like this. Oh, try me again. Do like this. Like 40 minutes vlogs, and besides what I choose ones, I just like ASLs as completely hard as I can, like Jared did with the ASL for 3 years. That's my longtime friend Jared and YMCA. Alright guys, I have to go back to my TV shows right now with my friends Mark and Corin right now. Don't forget to hit the button to subscribe some more content. So show me about, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, School of the Vice cameras, and TikTok cameras as the 3-minute videos as actions. And make sure to subscribe. Make sure to take a look up to the websites onto the desktops with the laptops and computers and phones, and make sure for about the interesting things about the players. Be sure to make a follow of it on Play Games as the Bubble Party as Make Money, and Battle Bingo as Make Money. Be sure to about subscribe to make yourself about playing games, about Make Money for Party, and be sure to subscribe to on the baddest stream on the planet, Ronda Rousey, as the game streaming on to look out about this. I am the baddest woman on the planet. Woo! I like Ric Flair and Charlotte Flair too. So it was just like the Nature Boy and the Queen, Charlotte Flair. I think I like the baddest woman on the planet. Woo! One of the best things at all time. Alright guys. Feel free to watch. I will see you guys in tomorrow this video. And then don't forget. She'll keep it rich, mateys. So good night.